Hey guys, Jessica Kabasi here. In today's video, I'm going to be answering a very common question that I get, and that is, how do I become a professional photographer? You know, you think the most common question for me is, hey, what's your favorite cereal? You know, what kind of cat do you want? No, it's photography related, which makes sense, and this is a very good question. A lot of people ask me this. More specifically, people ask me, what type of camera should I buy if I'm beginning in photography? And that is a great question because, I mean, let's face it, if you're not a professional photographer, you're not going to know what kind of camera to get. Like, you know, there's just so many different cameras to buy. And of course, you know, if you go into Best Buy or any other camera shop and, you know, you try to buy a camera, you're probably going to be very overwhelmed and not buy the right thing. So I'm going to list some steps that you can take. First of all, getting the right equipment, and then, you know, just becoming a professional photographer. Like, what steps do you take? So I'm here to help you guys. I'm here for you guys. So the first thing that I want to note that is extremely important for all of you students out there, you know, you guys hate homework. Well, guess what? You gotta love it today, okay? You better start loving it. You better start hugging it. Homework is what you're going to be doing for photography from now on. And when I say homework, I mean research. You have to research. You can't just go to a store and buy a camera and then that camera is going to fit your exact need. And I've had friends, you know, ask me, you know, this lens isn't working for me. It's not giving me the picture that I want. And I'm like, okay, well, what lens do you have? And they'll have like a completely different lens than what is suitable for what they want. So number one thing you should do is research before you buy anything. You need to ask yourself this question, okay? Like literally go into the bathroom, lock the door, look into the mirror and ask yourself, what type of photography do I want to do? What do you want to start with? What do you like to do? Do you like taking pictures of animals? Do you like taking pictures of scenery? Do you like taking pictures of people? Every style of photography is going to have a lens that will better suit that style. Now, I'm not saying that you can't use, you know, a zoom lens for portrait photography. I mean, you can use whatever you want, but in my opinion, starting out with the lens that will give you the best results for the photography you want to do is very important. It's going to save you a lot of time, a lot of headaches, a lot of money, okay? If you're like me and you're poor and, you know, you don't have like all this money to toss around, then you want to buy the best lens for what you want to do the first time. So after you answer your own question of what type of photography I want to do, then you can search for lenses that fit that photography. So for instance, let's say you like portrait photography. There are certain lenses, like prime lenses are great for portrait photography, in my opinion. You know, 50 millimeter, 35 millimeter. Those lenses will be better for portrait photography rather than like, you know, a telephoto lens that is used for maybe like sports photography or, you know, like creeper photography, like you're in Africa and, you know, you're taking pictures of animals from afar and you're trying not to get noticed. So there's just different lenses for different photography. Landscape photography lenses are going to be different than portrait photography lenses. So again, you want to start off with the best possible lens to give you those good results to begin with. And a lot of people ask me, you know, like, how do I go and find these lenses? What am I supposed to do? Well, find your favorite photographer, and if you like their pictures and how their pictures are turning out, try to figure out what lenses they're using. Most photographers will list their equipment. If not, you can ask. Googling always helps. Try to find example images. So for instance, if you are researching a lens and, you know, it's sounding kind of good, type in, you know, 50 millimeter 1.2 example images. There's usually groups of people who will post their example images, so you can see exactly what images that lens will produce. So the next thing is, what camera body and lens do I buy? Now, actually, someone didn't even know this, okay? The camera bodies are interchangeable with different lenses. So, you know, you can actually like literally take off the lens that you need. When you buy a camera, it doesn't come with like just one lens. You can actually change the lenses out to, again, fit the need of your photography. So to illustrate this better, I actually have my camera. Now this is the camera body and this is the lens. So let me show you an example. So when you buy a camera body where it says camera body only, you're literally gonna get a camera like this, okay? So when it says camera body only, when you go to buy your camera, if it's not a kit, then you're going to get your body like this. And you're going to be like, what the hell did I just order? Like, I got scammed. But don't worry, this is how it's supposed to come out. The thing is, you have to buy a lens to put on this camera body. And there are definitely a bunch of camera bodies that you can buy. This is the 5D Mark III. This is a little bit higher up professional grade. If you're just starting out, the camera bodies that I would recommend that my friends have used and that I've used personally are the Canon T3i, which is a great beginner camera. A lot of beginners have used this camera. A lot of people recommend it, so definitely have heard good things about that. Personally, I haven't tried it, but again, a lot of people have used it, so I mean, I trust those people. The camera body that I used when I first started was the Canon 60D, and again, it was a starter camera. It cost me like $700. It's probably cheaper now. It was a great starter camera. I used my 50mm 1.4 lens on that, and I loved it. Used it for about 2 years. So I would recommend that as well. And another camera that you can buy if you want something a little bit more professional grade is the Canon 6D. And my friend Jarvie has used this camera, especially for weddings, and I absolutely love the quality. I've seen all the pictures he's taken on it, and I can attest to the quality. So again, once you buy your camera body, something like this, you will need a lens. And the lenses that you buy will determine what type of picture you're going to get. So again, would really research what lenses give you what kind of picture, because all lenses give different types of pictures. So just be on Google a lot, basically. Let me just put this back. Did you guys watch my camera challenge where my sister tried to put it back? Never doing that again. That was a horrible idea. She almost broke my camera. I feel like she was going to break my camera. Okay, so the next thing you're going to want to do after you buy your camera body and your lens is get an editing program to edit your pictures. And, you know, before you start freaking out, it does seem a little bit intimidating to get an editing program such as Photoshop. So what I'd recommend if you are a beginner, you're just starting out, get Lightroom. Lightroom is, you know, the learning curve on Lightroom is it's amazing, and it's easy to learn. The filters are great. It's really nice if you're just starting out. So I would definitely recommend Lightroom. And then maybe you can transition into Photoshop. You really have to put the work in to kind of master both editing and shooting. Which leads me to my next point. You have to practice shooting outside as much as you possibly can. And you know, a lot of people tell me, oh, well, I don't have anyone to shoot with. If you can't find a sibling, a friend, bring your mom outside and take pictures of her, okay? Just literally use anyone that you can and just practice. Use different types of light outside. If you see something on the ground like flowers, if there's nice architecture where you live, unlike Michigan, we really are suffering here, you guys. It's really ugly. We have like gas stations and that's it. So if you got that nice landscape, if you're up in Europe and you know you're having fun over there with your mountains, go to a mountain. Just take a picture of some stuff. Just shoot anything. Literally go out and take pictures of anything and just practice as much as you can. It doesn't matter so much what you're taking pictures of rather than, you know, the light that you're using, how you're taking the picture, how you're editing it. Learn to use your camera as best as you can and then upgrade. Another very important tip is to learn to use available light. A lot of people, they first begin, they bust out the flash, they got this, you know, like an elephant with, you know, lights, and they got soft boxes everywhere, they got reflectors, they got this, you're doing too much. You need to step back. You need to learn to use available light. You need to learn natural light. Be very simple with your light, and what I would recommend is to master using natural light. So that means the sun. And you know what is so great about the sun? It's free, and it's always gonna be there. You can always count on it to be there, unless you're in London, or right now, you know, it's snowing. And the other day it was like 70 and now it's snowing over here in Michigan. So it's, you know, if you live in California, there you go. Move to California, I guess. Natural light is a foundation, and the flashes and the reflectors and the soft boxes are all, you know, add-ons and stuff you can learn later on. But learning to master natural light will help you immensely. Please trust me on this, because that's how I learned. After I learned to use natural light as best I could, my photography improved so much. A thing to remember is don't rely so heavily on flash. You might hate me for this, but you guys are gonna have to read books. So all you people who don't like to read, you will today, okay? Better pick up a book, better go to your library if you still got one. You're gonna need to read some photography books. Get to know the photography community when you first start out. It'll be very helpful in terms of critiques. They can help you with equipment. Some people post pictures of their photo shoots, and if you like their lighting, you can sometimes ask them and they'll, you know, reply back with what types of light they use. And I think it's very helpful, and you get to make some friends. And one of the last things, this is an issue for a lot of people. they try to do too much too soon. You really gotta like calm down. It's like you're a baby and you just came out of the womb and you want to start walking. Like, no, you don't try to do too much too fast. People overwhelm themselves, okay? I know some people who buy a bunch of photography equipment and they're like, what does any of this do? You don't want to be in that situation. You're going to really hate yourself. You're going to get annoyed. You don't want to be the person who orders $1,000 worth of photography equipment that you don't really know how to use, and then, it ends up on eBay in like a month, because you're like, whatever, I quit. Don't buy too much stuff. Buy the lens, buy the camera body. That's it. Start off small and then add on, okay? And after you get to know your equipment and you guys become friends and you know how to use it and turn on the camera, then you can upgrade when you feel like you're comfortable and you need more of a challenge. And I feel like that's the appropriate time to do so. Or whenever you feel like it, because it's like your life. So you do whatever you want to do. Like, I don't want to get a text message like, Jessica, I didn't buy equipment because of you and you told me. No. I mean, realistically, you can go and buy it whenever, but would I recommend buying a professional grade camera to begin with? It's pretty intimidating. So it's like a relationship. Just take it slow. Don't like text too much. Don't, propose right away. And after you've had your equipment and you feel like, it's time for an upgrade, buy reflectors, buy a flash, learn one thing at one period in time. Don't try to learn like all these new things at once. So those are just some tips if you are, trying to start photography and you don't really know where to start. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this.